kicks here. So to finish up the free kicks, the only thing we have left on free kicks is talk about the exception. And so essentially, when K fouls during a kick down, R has options should K commit a foul during such down. And the option being R has the option to either enforce from the previous spot, replay the free kick down, or enforce from the dead ball spot. And the main takeaway that I want you to have is, first of all, any foul by, well, not any foul, but a foul by K during a kick down, free kick down, and R has the ball at the end of the such down, then remember that there's an option. Okay? This excludes kick catch interference, because we talked about it last time. That has a separate enforcement, special enforcement. But the key thing is just remember, if you remember, K fouls during a free kick down, and R has possession at the end of the down, just remember that there is an option there for them. And such being, we mentioned, so R has possession in the down, they can proceed, they can penalize on the succeeding spot. K has the possession at the end of the down, obviously, they have to enforce it from the previous spot and replay if it's accepted. If R fouls during a free kick down, then before the kick ends, K has the option to accept the play results or enforce from the previous spot and replay free kick down. If it's after the kick ends, then K has the option to enforce from the basic spot. And when does it kick in? When it's possessed by a player, right? Yeah. So what is that foul? What's that foul? It's an illegal bat, right? All right, so it's a loose ball, and R bats it out of bounds. Can they do that? Can they bat a grounded loose ball like that? No. So what are the options? Who's the foul? Is the foul on K or R? Okay, so what about this? I mean, it's in the shoulder and it's in the chest. No. Cool. So we got an illegal bat by R. So was that before or after the kick ended? Before. Cool. So what's the enforcement on this? 3 yards. How many yards? 10. It's 10. Yeah. 10 yards. Yeah. Scrimmage kicks. Alright, so K may punt, drop kick, place kick in or behind the neutral zone. If K recovers in or behind the neutral zone, they may advance it, excluding a try, a kick try. R may advance if they recover or catch the kick anywhere in the total play. Again, excluding a try. And touching of a low scrimmage kick in or behind the expanded neutral zone is ignored. So how far is the neutral zone? How far can the neutral zone be expanded? 2 yards. Can it be expanded into the end zone? No. So expanding the neutral zone, expanding only one direction to behind the defensive line of scrimmage on any scrimmage down. So remember, a scrimmage kick is a scrimmage down. And on, again, like I said, only in one direction in the field of play. Player designations. So who's the kicker? Kicker is the one who legally punts, drop kicks, or place kicks. And a player becomes a kicker when his knee, lower leg, or foot makes contact with the ball. Who's a holder? A holder is a player who controls the ball on the ground or on a kicking tee. Snapper is one who snaps the ball, but in a scrimmage kick formation, he remains a snapper until he's had an opportunity to regain his balance and protect himself, or otherwise participate in play. So in a scrimmage kick formation, we protect 3 players, right? Kicker and the holder, and the third one is the snapper. So what's the holder allowed to do? So if it's a bad snap, he's allowed to rise, catch it, go back down. If it's a good snap and he muffs it, then he cannot get up, recover, and then go back down, right? The holder's allowed to catch the snap, rise and run, and he can hand it, kick it, or he can throw it. He's not allowed to pass or hand it with his knee on the ground. So he's got to get up off the ground to do those things. Here's a play. Watch the holder on this play. What does the holder do? Okay, so he got down. It was his knee on the ground. Yes. So if his knee's on the ground, there's another view over here. So when he does that with his knee on the ground, it is what? It's dead. It's dead. You blow it dead. You kill it. So for him to do that, and for it still be a live ball, he needs to rise up. Okay? Not a foul. It's just the play's over with, the down hands. Now this happened to me last year. So Lexington and Whitehall. And I want you to watch the holder. So I missed this because the holder never actually gets back down. So he controls the ball on the ground, squatting, and I'm sitting there staring at it going, that looked really bizarre. But, the Lexington coach is screaming at a snapper, so he completely, and the holder's like, I got hit, and the Lexington coach's like, I don't care, it's a bad snap. So I got off the hook from that standpoint. But I forgot the definition of a holder. A holder is simply the player who controls the ball on the ground. It says, or it's a kicking tee. It says nothing about his actual positioning to be a holder. What I mean by that is that he can squat without a knee on the ground and be the holder. So, yeah, we'll get to that. But he, to be a holder, he just has to control the ball on the ground or a kicking tee. And he did that. So this should have been a foul for roughing the holder, or roughing kicker slash holder. Huh? Yes. Yeah, he could have passed it. Yeah, he could have handed it. Yeah. He was off the ground. He could have done anything he wanted to, including still fulfilling his obligation as a holder. Now, scrimmage kick formation. So for a place kick, you have a K player in position to receive the snap with knee on the ground. At least 7 players behind the snapper. K player in position to kick 3 yards or less behind the holder. So to be in a scrimmage kick formation, the player who's going to act, who's going to be the holder, has to have his knee on the ground. But once the ball snaps, he does not have to have his knee on the ground to be a holder. So I see that distinction in there, and that's where I messed up. I'm staring at it, and I was like, well, after like 2 seconds, I'm like, oh, I just want to let it go. Homer Edwards was there for those that know him. He's like, I said, he goes, I don't know what he goes, I wonder what you were going to do with that. I said, I'm going to stare at it until I didn't have time to do anything. He said, that was a good choice. A good choice. Punt. K player 10 yards or more behind the line of scrimmage. Now, we all know that there are plenty of snappers that cannot snap the ball 10 yards for punt. So he's 8 yards, 9 yards, let it go. All right. Me personally, I would much rather the punter be 8 yards deep, the snap get to him, and that ball go away, get punted off, get kicked off, as opposed to make him stand back 10 yards, give the lollipop, you get a bunch of players running back there. So, as long as it's clearly a clear punt situation and a clear punt formation, at least 9 yards, 8 yards, just let it go. And what does scrimmage kick formation do? Well, why do we have this? Who does it protect? The snapper. The snapper. No, doesn't take a holder. Correct. But he can still be a holder. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. To be a holder is simply. Everybody minus the snapper. If you're not in scrimmage kick formation, the holder is still protected. He's protected when he fulfills the definition of a holder, which is a player who controls the ball on the ground on a kicking team. To be in scrimmage kick formation, he does. Correct. But he doesn't have to start on the ground. To be a holder, he does not have his knee on the ground. Right. Right. To be in the formation, he has to start on the ground. That's what I'm saying. But if they want to kick it, and for whatever reason, and they snap it, and the guy drops down, they snap it to the running back, he drops down, the player beside kicks it, that's fine. They can do that. The snapper's not protected. As soon as the holder places the ball on the ground or kicking tee to be kicked, he becomes protected.
Well, if you're numbering exceptions.
Yeah. Yeah. So the holder's protected based on what he does. The kicker's protected based on what he does. The snapper's protected based on the formation. If they're not in scrimmage kick formation, yes. Yeah. Because, so, for the holder and for the kicker to be protected, the ball has to be kicked, legally kicked. The snapper to be protected, the ball does not have to be kicked. Yeah, so that's the difference. So the formation protects the snapper, actions protect the kicker and the holder.
So in that same way, he does get to kick off prior to holding.
Yes. Well, about the same time. It was about the same time.
But if he did not kick the ball, there's no correction.
So can you get kick formation with kick formation and the holder is standing up and protects the ball?
So that would not be scrimmage kick formation. If the holder's standing up pre-snap, they snap it, you're still standing up, they can catch the ball, and then you place it on the ground?
Yeah.
And once he places it on the ground, he's protected, but the snapper is not.
But the snapper's not
And
protected.
the umpire's got to know that the knee's on the ground.
The umpire's not going to know that. The umpire's going to throw his flag, and the referee's going to pick it up and say,
Right.
yeah. I've seen this where the holder has been squatting. They were doing a fake.
Yeah.
And so the holder he squatted. It looked like, he acted like his knee was on the ground, but it wasn't. They snap it to him, he gets up and he runs. So, in that situation, the snapper was not protected because they were not in scrimmage kick formation. Now the team didn't hit the snapper because they thought they didn't know that. But he was not protected by the rule.
If that holder is like a catcher's stick,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If he snaps the ball, he decides
That's a dead ball, yeah. Yeah, that's a dead ball.
It didn't start with.
If pre-snap, if his knee is off the ground, it cannot go down with the ball.
But he still put the ball down.
But he's still be a holder, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it gets into the weeds and you really gotta know the definitions. And that's where I was like, that's where I messed up. I just didn't know the definition.
It's one of those things you don't see.
So, scrimmage kick formation. So why is it important? Well, we already mentioned it protects the snapper. But numbering, or somebody else say numbering. So, on a normal scrimmage down, how many players must be numbered 50 through 79? 5. On first, second, and third down, when a team lines up in scrimmage kick formation, how many of those 5 may be replaced by any numbers? 1. It doesn't have to be the snapper, but he has to be between the ends. Yeah, so he just has to be between the ends. And by him being between the ends, that makes him what type of receiver? An element. On fourth down, how many of those players 50 through 79 may be replaced? All of them. And all of those players that are between the ends, what are they? What type of receivers are they? An element. Here's the play. Alright, so field goal attempt, 4 seconds to go in the first half. Focus on the snapper. And the field goal is good. So what do we have here? So, what was the result of the play? Successful field goal, right? And we have a roughing the snapper foul. So what are the options for K when that happens? Well, no, not replay it down. Replay and roughing the snapper foul also has what with it? Automatic first down. Or what's the other option that they can do? They can accept the points and then take it on the succeeding spot. Succeeding spot. So this was the end of the first half. So if they choose to take it on the succeeding spot, are you gonna have an untimed down? No. We're gonna force it for the second half kickoff. And why do we emphasize the succeeding spot? What is it about a foul like this? When we say succeeding spot, that means it can be carried over to the succeeding kickoff or overtime. Overtime. So you have to remember that. You can go over overtime. So we got fourth and goal. We got a field goal attempt, 4th and goal. What the hell happened here? So we've got 4th and goal. So when that kick is blocked, partially blocked, does the kick remain live? Okay, alright. So it's partial, so it's live. Alright, so it's touch there. Touch there. When is the kick in? Was this ball ever possessed? This is a field goal. Yeah, so let's walk through the process. So was this kick ever possessed? So all kicks that go into ours end zone are touchbacks. Touchbacks. So since this was never possessed and it ended up in ours end zone, this is a touchback. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the muff going on around here. They're trying to recover, they're muffing it all over the place, and then it ends up in the end zone, so you've got to know. Kick hadn't ended. So if you rule that, now if you rule that if, in that half second it came to rest, if you wanna say the kick ended there, then the ball's dead. Then the ball's dead, yeah, at the 2. But that would be awfully quick to rule that. Alright, so we got a 4th and 1. So what do? They do a pooch kick. Now, is that scrimmage kick formation? No, so who's not protected here? Is the kicker still protected if he gets hit? Yes. Do they get the numbering exceptions here? No, they do not. They do not. Where's that block right there? Don't see that block? Yeah, let me, this is, yeah, so there's a blindside block in there. So that blindside block did occur after or before the kick ended? It was actually, wait a minute. So back here. So kick instant now, kick is ended. Look around 40. So was that after or before the kick ended? After. So where's the spot of enforcement going to be for this one? It's either going to be the dead ball spot or spot of the foul, depending upon where those two are at. I don't have the all but one anymore. I'll say that anymore.
So that foul occurred behind in the run.
They were on spot foul. Yeah.
Say that again?
If the foul had occurred behind the end of the run, it would have been a spot foul. If it occurs in front of the end of the run, then it's the foul from the succeeding spot, basically. All right. Well, let me hit replay on this one here. All right, so we got punt formation here, right? All right. So who are the ineligibles here on this play? And between the lines, right? In between the ends. Who's responsible for knowing who the ineligibles are? The umpire. The umpire is responsible for knowing who the ineligibles are. The wings, they're going to know who these two, they're going to know these two eligibles. But all this in here, that's the umpire. So we'll watch what happens here. How many people are downfield? 7 of them, right? 7 of them. Do you have 7 downfield on pass across the line of scrimmage? No, you cannot. You cannot. Was there a call made on this play? There was not. There was not. So if you've got 7 running down there, if you're the umpire and you only have 3 people in front of you, you're looking at 3, and everybody else is behind you downfield, and the pass crosses downfield, just throw the flag. Don't even pick a number. Just say, coach, all of them. I mean, but you know you've got a flag, and just drop the flag. There was a flag on that play. It was on the head coach of the team that gave up the touchdown. Unfortunately, we're arguing about the play. Here's another one. And this happens too. We got punt. Oh, we got a bad snap. Now we've got a fire drill. And he throws it. What are the odds that there's not an ineligible receiver downfield on this play? Pretty zero. And who's going to be most likely to be the ineligible downfield? And why is that? He takes off because he gets a free release. He's the only K player that gets a free release. So as soon as they snap it, they are taught to go. So if this pass crosses the line of scrimmage, then we know at a minimum, we have an ineligible downfield. We know that. Now, if number 80 catches it, we may or may not know where he came from to catch it. We'll try our best, you know, because if he was in between the ends and he catches it, then what do we have? Well, when that foul is illegal touching. But we know at a minimum we've got the ineligible downfield. So in this case, he's the only player who takes to possess it after the snap, because that was the change for this year. And he's outside the lateral edge in the free blocking zone. And it crosses the line of scrimmage. So he does meet the requirements to throw it away. But you still have the ineligible downfield. Awarding a new series. So a new series for K. So K advances a kick, caught, or recovered in or behind the line of scrimmage, and they advance past the line of the game. I get a new series. If R touches a kick beyond the expanded neutral zone, and K recovers, they get a new series. New series for R. K possesses a kick beyond the line of scrimmage prior to R first touching, K first touching, and R does not move to the right. Point possession, kick out of bounds, PSK, and no one possesses after the ball is come to rest. So scrimmage kick ends and K is in possession. So if it ends in or behind the expanded neutral zone, what is the status of the ball? Line. K can run it, pass it, and yes, they can kick it again. I would mess that first question forever for the end of the time. If they reach the line of the game, they get a first down. If K has possession at the end of a scrimmage kick, and the ball ends beyond the expanded neutral zone, what's the status of the ball? Dead. K catches a scrimmage kick, it can be to catch interference. And what's the exception to that? When can K catch a scrimmage kick and fly? Nobody's near it in a position to catch it. If no R player is in a position to catch it. Here's some examples. So 4th and 4, second quarter, highlighted player, blocks the kick. So when does this kick end? Right, so as soon as possessed, it's an act. And where did he possess it at? Was it in or behind? Right, so he can advance it. Ball remains live, he runs, 4th and 4, so he gets out past the line of the game. So who's going to be awarded a new series at the end of this down? Yeah, okay. What's the play clock? 40 or 25 seconds? 40. What if he, now, say he was tackled in bounds. Does the game clock start on the snap or the ready? Starts on the snap. So the game clock always starts on the snap following a legal kick. Doesn't matter what happens and who's awarded a new series. Play clock, because K is awarded a new series, it will be 40 seconds, but the game clock will always start on the snap.
So you say have a legal kick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start time he is off around. Right.
You get in behind the neutral zone. Alright, so So who's gonna be awarded a new series after this one? Who recovers, right? So K recovers. So they awarded a new series. I don't see the flag. So we gotta see what this flag thing is. I want you to replay here. Confusion, discussion. There's more discussion. Still discussing. They're still talking. A lot of discussion. Referee's kind of walking around like, He's got his head bob. He's in a long discussion on the mic. Got a sideline. Well, so it's actually going to be a sideline interference, as we'll see. Well, I'm staying at the bottom of the screen. Right, so we got official getting off the ground and we got a coach backing up. All right. So we got unintentional contact between an official and a head coach. So what is that? Is it and it's a non-player foul. So it would be enforced from where? The seating spot. The seating spot. And the game clock would start on the snap. And in this case, because we had a long discussion, the play clock's going to be 25 seconds.
Well, how do you not have that discussion? You have that discussion.
It would have been 40. Oh, that's right. You're changing possession with the 25. That's right. Yeah. So here's another one. A block kick. All right. So we have a block kick that's recovered by who? Initially, in or behind, right? So the ball's still live at any point, right? R gets it, the ball's always alive. He possesses it, and then what does he do? Fumbles. And then who gets it? So he fumbles, and it's recovered by K. So K gets awarded a new series. Now, if he had just touched it, and then K fell on it, K would not have been awarded a new series, right? Because touching would be ignored in this case. But because he possessed it and then fumbled it, that's why we would get a new series. Yeah.
Try that again.
Alright, we don't have time for that. Alright, so this was a good one. And remember, when do we say touching is ignored? And touching of a what type of kick? Low scrimmage kick. So here's your example of your low scrimmage kick. He kicked it. He drops the snap. There's another example of it. Look at how he drops it. See how so the touching is ignored where? In the expanding neutral zone, right? So if R were to touch it beyond the expanding neutral zone, we're not ignoring this anymore, right? Yeah, it's free. Yeah, free ball. Yeah. Yes. All right, for my umpire out there. And you got on this one. Yeah. Oh, we got one. You got hurdle. I mean, that's a safety issue. All right. So that was on try. It was a successful try. So what are the options? So they can replay. They always have that option to replay, or it's a sitting spot. referees.
What are you thinking?
He gets it off and then he gets hit. Are you gonna call roughing kicker on that? And why not?
Because it wasn't an obvious kick.
Was it an obvious kick? That's right. Was it an obvious kick? And him laying on the ground.
Vicious hit on him.
You're right, it was not unnecessary roughness. It was, he's picking the ball up, he's running, he's going to make a tackle, because he doesn't know, the defense doesn't, you're gonna give them some leeway on this because of how bad the snap was.
He's a runner.
That's right.
Oh, he calls the worst of that. Oh, terrible ball.
He did,
Terrible ball.
he did, and they were able to run the clock out. Now, so the coach was out of conference. That's fine. But you see how this official walks him back towards his sideline? Because we're going to have this discussion with the coach in front of his team box. He's not going to be able to come all the way off the field. So that was not unnecessary roughness. Yeah, so that was.
He takes it and you count for 3 and then he hits it up there.
And if he pulls up, and now he's able to get off a better kick because he pulls up. So, but see, they're having this conference in front of the team box. The referee is there, the wing official is there. That's what we want. All right, we're not going to have this conference with the coach by the numbers. We need to have it in front of the team box area. So that official walked him back, and then we will come talk to him. So, what was the first? Was that forward or backwards? And why was it backwards? What was the direction of the ball initially? Parallel or towards the runners in line. And then he kicks it off the ground. Is that legal or illegal? Illegal. So, what would be the enforcement on this? So again, so there's options here, right? So what's the down? Let's see what the down is. Let's see, we got, I don't know, let's cover it up. So let's say it's third down. You want to make sure you give the coach the options on this, right? Because he may decide to do what? He may decide to decline and take the result of the play, which is when the ball went out of bounds, and then make it fourth down. Or he may decide to enforce it from the spot of the foul. How many yards? 10. It's 10 yards. 10 yards. Yeah. And then replay the down. This is not an automatic this is not a loss of down aspect of this. So make sure you give him the options on that, because it's not quite so obvious. We have the same exception for scrimmage kicks that we did for free kicks. So a foul by K during scrimmage kick down, other than kick catch interference, prior to the end of the kick, K will not be next to put the ball on play. So K fouls during scrimmage kick down. So again, they can accept the play results and enforce in the previous spot, or they can choose to enforce the sitting spot, or they can choose to enforce in the previous spot if it's during the kick, right? And then you play it down. So the foul by K during the kick is what type of play? Loose ball play. Loose ball plays, the basic spot is your spot.
What have you put up?
Excluding kick catch interference.
It was.
But don't forget, they also have the option to enforce.
When I walk around the house, I say.
Or has that option. So
And
again,
one on-
foul by K,
So,
during the scrimmage kick down, and R has the possession at the end of the down, okay, there's potential for them to have an option.
Clark.
Alright, so what's that foul? Illegal shift, right? So that player he got on his side of the neutral zone, right? So before the ball is snapped, what do all 11 players have to do? I'm set. So you've got him moving, and then you got the other kid going, oh my God, he's supposed to be here. So you got two people moving at the same time. So what type of foul is that? Illegal shift. Now, is that a live ball or a live ball simultaneously snap? But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about college. All right, so what are R's options? So they can always take it from the previous spot and replay, or well, they don't decline it, they can accept it and enforce it from the succeeding spot. Yeah. Go try. Oh no. What is that? What is that foul? Go try.
What are you doing?
It's coming. Leave the top of the screen. I got somebody running on. So what is this foul? Illegal substitution. All right. So the try is good. So what is the options? So who gets the options here? A or R? R. So what are the options? Replay. And if it's no good, do they have to? What if they accept it and it's no good? What do you enforce? What do you enforce an illegal substitution non-player foul from? Sitting spot. So does it matter? Can they ever force them to replay this down? No. Because it's a sitting spot foul. It's always going to be enforced from the sitting spot. Yeah, the illegal substitution in this case. So non-player illegal substitution foul in this case. Yeah, somebody enters during the down, they don't participate. That's a non-player foul. That's always enforced from the succeeding spot. So it's always going to be enforced. This was a try. So it's always going to be enforced on the succeeding spot. Not true. We just proved that's not true. Now, this 12 formation, I'll try to get it.
Right.
All right, so here we've got another punt. Pretty. We got another punt. Okay. So what are the options here? So it depends on so when this foul, so it's down here. When all this occurred down here, I think kick already ended. So when the kick is ended, what is the only option for R is what? enforce it from the end of the run. Right? That's the only option they have. If this personal foul that occurred during the kick, now what would their options have been? So they could have gone back to the previous spot and replayed it down, or they could have enforced it from the succeeding spot. So the conversation here, so the official that sees this, he sees it, he throws his flag. What else does that official have to know? Status of the ball. Was it the kick or not? Was it the kick or not? And so when he comes to the referee and I say, what do you got? You need to say, I've got a personal foul by K that occurred either during the run or after the kick ended or something like that, to tell me that it can only be enforced from the end of the run. Here's a good one. Fun. Just bouncing around down here, no big deal, I'm relaxing, nothing's going on. It's still rolling, it's still rolling. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So what is that? Leave it back. Let's go back and watch the back judge on this. He beat bags it. And he's kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to stop it. Well, the problem is the ball is way down there inside the 20. Still rolling while he's blowing his whistle. So what is this? An inverted whistle. So, what are the first of all, if there's no penalty here for an illegal bat, and an inverted whistle sounds during the kick, then what is the automatic replay down? There are no options here. However, we have a fact. So R has an option. What are their options? They can accept the penalty. And where can they enforce the penalty from? They can enforce it from the previous spot, or they can enforce it from the succeeding spot, which happens to be wherever the ball was at whenever he blew his whistle. No. Because the down ends when he blows his whistle. So first touching is not going to override it. IW. He blew his whistle after it was touched, but before, that ball was still alive. So it's still a kick. Yeah. No, there was first touching, but the ball was still a kick when he blew his whistle. So by rule, that is an automatic replay. There's an inverted whistle. However, there's a foul, and an accepted penalty will override the inverted whistle. And the options being he can enforce it from the previous spot, or he can enforce it from the succeeding spot, which in this case would be wherever the ball was at when the whistle was blown, because that's when the down ends. They either get it from wherever he decided he blew his whistle at and the ball was at when he blew his whistle, or they have to go back. They cannot get that spot first touch because of the inverted whistle.
This play, he blew it dead for a foul.
He blew it dead.
He blew it after.
Yeah, so he throws the bean bag, and then he's kind of looking around, and then he starts blowing it dead. The ball is still rolling down the field. Yeah, we blew it dead.
So they couldn't take the ball from this side of the 20?
They could have accepted. So let's say he blew the whistle, and he goes, when I blew the whistle, the ball was at the 19. Then they have the option, because that's the dead ball spot. or has the option to enforce the illegal bat from that spot, or they can enforce it from the previous spot. If they don't get the first, they can't enforce it from the first touching spot. If there's no intermittent whistle, then they have the options. They can take the spot of first touching, or they can choose to enforce it from, again, the previous spot, illegal bat, or they can enforce an illegal bat from the dead ball spot, which would be, no, that's not the dead ball spot, it's where it ends. So in that case, they might want to decline the foul and take the spot of first touching. Yeah. He touched it. When he bat, so that's first touching right there. It's a first touching and an illegal bat. So they have the option, if there's no intermittent whistle in this play, they have the option to decline the foul, because that's about 30. So they could decline the foul and take the spot of first touching at the 30. Whereas the ball ends up inside the 20. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He needs to not blow the whistle until the down is in. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He didn't reckon. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know whether because even if he didn't recognize the illegal bat, he should have kept going with the ball. Yeah. All right. Here's another one. Yeah, so I would not be, my game would be canceled. All right, so let me, all right, so what do we have? We got a bat, he must snap. So is that a legal or an illegal kick? That is an illegal kick. That's an illegal kick. So is this considered a scrimmage kick down? No. No, why? It's not a legal kick. All right. So we know the foul is illegal kicking. We know it's 10 yards. Where's the enforcement spot for this? Right. So that would be the spot of that. And is this considered a loose ball play or a running play? So it's a running play. He never got possession of it. He must have snapped. So it can't be a fumble. So he must have snapped. So when does the snap end? When it touches. The snap ends when it touches the ground or any other player other than the lineman, or sorry, back. So snap's over with. So we've got a loose ball that's laying on the ground and he kicks it. So is this a running play or a loose ball play? All right, so let's look at our plays. All right, a loose ball play is action during a free kick or scrimmage kick other than a PSK foul, so we know it's not that. It's action during a legal forward pass, we know it's not that. It's action during a backward pass, including snap, and a legal kick or fumble made by A from in or behind the neutral zone prior to a change of team of possession. So it is a loose ball play. It is a loose ball play. So the enforcement spot would be the previous spot. The basic spot would be the previous spot, but since it was behind the basic spot, it's a spot foul.
So what
to go back to the previous spot.
One of the things that I heard that might clear this up is it's foul against the ball. It's behind line of scrimmage is the spot.
It's a ball.
So you just have to, Dave, so you just got to remember illegal forward pass, illegal kicking, illegal batting, illegal participation are all going to be spot fouls. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a spot foul. It's a foul against, it's a non-contact foul against the ball, basically. There's going to be spot fouls.
So any running play that occurs for pass play, you got a foul.
If you have a pass play, there's a hole by A, you're going to
You go into the rear spot. Yeah. There's a lot more to come on that. I don't want to get, because there's some issues with how they wrote it that I'm still waiting for clarification. But yeah.
So I talked to our head coach early last week, and we were just talking about this, and he said, yeah, I'm glad they changed that, now I can't have first.
Yeah, that's why, if that's not the part that's the issue, it's what they did beyond that that's the issue.
Right, but that's what they're seeing.
Right, yeah. Touchback. So, fundamentals. A free or a scrimmage kick into our end zone is always touchback. Must be a legal kick, force is not a factor. And a kick ends when a player gains possession. And it's must equal possession? No. So scoring attempt. So touchback if it touches a K player in our end zone, or is touchback if it's an unsuccessful attempt and it crosses R's goal line plane. Non-scoring attempt breaks R's goal line. Pretty simple. R may choose the spot at first touching. So is it where the player or where the ball is that determines this? Ball. So does it matter if the player is in the end zone? No, it's all about where the ball is. All about where the ball is. So he ruled this a touchback, but it should have been at the one. Okay. So we got a punt. We've got a muff. And we've got a mad scramble in the end zone. So what is the result of this play? Touchback. Now, as a back judge, you got to get in there, you got to get the players separated. Take your time, stop the clock. There's no rush on making a call on that. Get them separated, take a deep breath. Remember, run it through your head and then give the signal. What you don't want to do is go to touchdown and then we come back and make a change. Much rather just take your time on that and go slow.
What do you think? He bumped that, right?
Yeah.
That was their kick.
All right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but it's easy when you're in there. If Kane jumps up with it, celebrating, screaming touchdown, band's playing fight song. So take your time. Yeah. All right, on this one.
Unless he possessed it before it falls line.
This could never be a touchdown by Kane. So if you possessed it at the one, what is it? It's K's ball at the one, but as soon as he possesses it, what happens to the down? It ends, right? So it doesn't matter all of this craziness. All that matters is that ball crosses breaks R's goal line, and it's touchback. They still got there's not different colors, which is the problem. Yeah. That's only. Alright. What is that? Touchback. Should we be throwing a beanbag on this?
No.
No, there's no reason to beanbag this. No reason to beanbag that. No reason. When did the clock start?
Well, I guess it's skimmed, so it's never.
And so when does the clock start on a free kick? By who? By R. So when R touches it, you wind the clock, goes in the end zone, you stop it, and you give a touchback signal. Alright, so again, it matters. So what does it matter about the player, or does it matter the ball? Right. So in this case, the ball bounces over. The player grabs it, tries to throw it back, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Alright, so here's what's happening. It's a field goal attempt. So a scoring attempt that is no good, that crosses R's end zone is what?
It's a touchdown.
It's a touchback. So we should not have this. We should not have it, but it happened last year. So momentum. So momentum is an exception to the force rule that allows the defense or R to possess an opponent's ball and not be penalized for going from the field of play into their end zone. That applies during a catch and recovery inside the 5-yard line. Okay. So what's included in this? Defense intercepts for a pass. Defense intercepts or recovers a backward pass or fumble. R catch or recovers a scrimmage kick. R catch or recover a free kick. Alright, so we got to kick off. So when does the kick end? Alright, so who's responsible for putting this ball in the end zone? R. Because if the kick went into the end zone, it would be a what? Touchback. So the kick ended when R got possession. R is responsible for taking this into his end zone. However, with the momentum exception, he's not penalized. Because what would this be without momentum? Safety. Yes. So how do we mark a spot of momentum? Beanbag. Beanbag. And where is the ball? Where will it next be snapped from? The 1-yard line. Fair catch. So fair catch. What does it do? An R player gives a valid signal. So signaling an R player catches this kick beyond the neutral zone. A free kick, fair catch, is when an R player gives a valid signal and he catches the kick in or beyond the neutral zone. So what's the one key difference between a fair catch for a scrimmage kick and for a free kick? You cannot have a fair catch on a scrimmage kick that is called in or behind your neutral zone. Now, can you give a signal? And if you give a signal and he catches it, what the ball? What does the ball do? It becomes dead. But is that called? But is that a fair catch? No. Okay. All right. So fair catch. Player who gives a signal is afforded protection in exchange for not advancing. Invalid fair catch signal is an inappropriate signal, or after the kick is touched the receiver, or after the kick is touched the ground. It is permissible for the receiver to shield his eyes. The back judges do a good job of doing this. We're almost done. All right, so let's look at these plays here. And why is the fair catch important? What is it? All right, so we got a kick off way back. So we got a lot of penalties going on in here. So we got a kick off. Oh, everybody stop. What happened? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Let's see. Let's see a replay of this. Yeah. And then another player caught it. So is that ball still dead?
Yeah.
Is that a fair catch?
No, that ball.
Dead ball, yeah.
The receiver's not for the protection.
So what was the receiver doing on that? What was he doing? Let's see, I'll show you a replay here. Watch him before when the ball's coming down. Here it comes. So watch number 13. He's kind of pointing, kind of getting out of the way, but is he giving what we would consider an invalid fair catch signal? No, so is that legal in high school? Yeah, it is, yeah. So, yes. Yeah. What can a player not do after he gives a fair catch signal? He cannot block for the kick in. That is correct. So here, he gives a signal, and then he does what? He goes up and blocks. So, is that a PSK foul? Foul by R for the kick ins beyond the neutral zone, and it was a scrimmage kick. It was a try, and R's next to put the ball in play. So that's a PSK foul. So where is the enforcement spot for this? And the kick. And so the back judge has got to see the fair catch signal. Really and truly, he's probably got to see the block. You might get some help from the line judge, but you can't assume the line judge saw the fair catch signal. And then he's got to worry about the ball and the goal line. He's got a lot going on there. So why do we need to know when it's a fair catch? Ball placement, right? If a team commits, if a team fair catches a punt, then they can do what? They can choose where the ball would next be snapped. And they do have the option for a free kick for a scoring attempt. It's an illegal block, just 15 yards. Yeah. Kick catch interference. All right, we're almost there. So, a punt returner or a player trying to catch or recover a kick is considered what in the rule book? What type of player? Defenseless. He's a defenseless player. So what does that mean? Does it mean he can't be contacted? No. He can be contacted, it's just on who, it's on the onus of that player doing the contacting to make it legal. All right. So R is entitled to an unobstructed path to catch a kick. Fair kick signal is not required. K is prevented from touching a free kick in flight and or beyond the neutral zone. K is prevented from touching a scrimmage kick in flight beyond the neutral zone. The exception being, K may catch, touch, muff, or bat a scrimmage kick in flight if no R player is in position to catch the kick. Can K ever catch, touch, muff, or bat a free kick in flight? A free kick in flight? No, never. Obstruction or touching is ignored if K is blocked into the ball or R. And obstruction or touching is ignored if K is warding off the blocker. So the options. So award 15, awarded fair catch. So when we say awarded fair catch, what does that give R the right to do? Yep. 15 yards from the previous spot, replay, or they can award a fair catch at 15 yards from the spot of the foul. So not where the kick ends, right? Spot of the foul. And 15 yards from the previous spot and replay the down, or they can obviously take the go to play. So we don't have, so what's the kind of the rule of thumb for back judges? If they're within a yard right in front of him, that probably should be catch and return. Does it matter if he catches it cleanly or not? No, it doesn't matter. It's that he's that close. He doesn't have to contact him or anything like that. And how long is a receiver considered defenseless? At what point does the defenseless status go away? When he becomes a runner. So there's a gray period in there, right?
Yeah.
So he can catch the kick, and there's a period in there where he catches it and he becomes a runner. And in that area in between is that gray area that's a judgment call for the back coach. No. So that's
There's no way you're gonna have 2,000.
no.
Even if, like, you just showed an example of how it's kind of close, and that's the close above.
It's yes, there's a case of that, yeah.
But like, if you knock the helmet off, and the coach didn't want to reject it.
No.
I mean, honestly, like, that's the kind of thing, if you can't call versus the foul, you have to call it.
And that back there is just right, he's in perfect position to see it right there. That would be targeting.
Right. But you still have the mechanical thing is the 15 yard thing. Correct.
All right. We're on red field now. All right, so you get to see the ball bounces. So the ball bounces. So do you have KCI if the kick has already hit the ground? No. Is that receiver still considered defenseless if he's trying to recover a kick? Yes. So it's not, in this case, it's not KCI, but it could be a personal foul. And that goes into what Mac was talking about. If you call it a personal foul, now you don't get certain things like ball placement and things like that. This is a good one. So, we've got a good signal. So when does this protection end, or when does his right to catch the kick unmolested end? So, yeah, when he muffs it. So in this case, who's going to be awarded a new series? Okay. So did he have an unobstructed path to the ball? He did. He did not. I mean, his vision was obstructed. He was in the yard there. Yeah, you gotta get that. All right, so we have. What are you gonna call this one? What are we gonna? So we have a flagrant what? Flagrant. So on this one, you would get both because of the flagrant aspect. Now, it's got 2 fouls by K, right? We've got KCI, so we know the options for that. And we have a targeting foul that we're gonna rule flagrant. So when you go to give the options here, what are you gonna tell the coach for R? What you would do is just say, coach, we have 2 fouls by K. We have kick catching interference, and your options are awarded fair catch, 15 from the spot of foul, yada, yada, yada. We also have a flagrant personal foul by K. If you decline the personal foul, you still get the KCI options, and we will still eject the player. Right, so that's how you would handle both of those. Because it's 2 live ball fouls, you've got to get both of them covered. Oh, no, does not yet. But however, if I'm going to do my signaling, I want to go I'm going to go kick catch interference, and then I'm going to say we have an ejection. I'm not going to go through the whole personal foul, decline it, eject thing. I'm just going to go KCI, that, and ejection. But when I go to tell the coaches, I'm going to say this is what we've got, and just kind of walk it through, and that way he knows. Okay, because again, he's going to want the KCI because he gets other advantages like ball placement, things like that. And then you've got the ejection as well. The other reason to take the KCI here is, I don't know where the ball ends up on this play, but if you just charge the personal foul, so again, we talked about, we have a personal foul we have a foul in scrimmage kick down by K. R has the ball at the end of the down, okay? So the enforcement, they can either take it from because they're doing the kick, they have a previous spot, or they can take it from the succeeding spot. So if the ball rolls away 5 or 10 yards downfield and that's where it ends, he loses some yardage there. Or if he takes the KCI, it's 15 yards from the spot of the foul. So you're just gonna have to work through all that process. Yep. First touching, and then we'll be done. We're gonna beat back, spot of first touching. So first touching on a free kick occurs when? K touches it where? Within 10 yards, and it is touched the ground. If K touches it in the air within 10 yards, what do we have? KCI. For a scrimmage kick, what is first touching on a scrimmage kick? beyond the neutral zone before R touches it and the ball comes to rest. First touching is ignored if K is pushed or blocked into the ball by R. And can R lose the right of first touching? Yes. When did they lose the right of first touching? Except the foul, or if R touches the ball and then commits a foul, or any fouls accepted. But if R touches the ball and then commits a foul, all right, so that's when they lose the right of first touching. All right, so we've already talked about this. So break this down. So when does R lose the right of first touching? So the question to ask: when does R touch the ball? When does R commit the foul? If R fouls prior to touching the kick, they still retain the right to first touching. If they foul after touching the kick, they lose the right to first touching. So the two situations: R fouls and R has final possession. Scrimmage kick. If it's a PSK foul, then we know we enforce it from the basic spot is the end of the kick, and then you see the basic spot on the spot of the foul, right? If it's a non-PSK foul, it will be enforced from the previous spot. If it's a free kick, if R fouls in a free kick, what's the basic spot? If R fouls during a free kick, previous spot. They're in a free kick, they're in a kick, previous spot. And the free kick down free play. So there's no advantage to K declining the penalty, regardless of R retaining or losing the right to free for touching the spot. R fouls, R has final possession. However, R fouls and K has final possession. If R retains the right to first touching, and that means what? That means the foul occurred when? Before they touched it. So, free kick, K is going to accept R's foul, enforce from the previous spot. Scrimmage kick, so can you have a PSK in this situation? Because K has possession at the end of the down. Right, so K can accept R's foul and enforce from the previous spot because R still has the right to first touching, right? So if K if K declines R's foul, then who's going to get the ball next? R, because they still retain the right. Because they fouled when? Before touching. R loses the right of first touching. So how does R lose the right of first touch? They foul when? After touching. So if it's a free kick, K is going to decline and retain possession. If it's a scrimmage kick, K is going to decline and retain possession. All because R lost the right of first touching, and they lost it when they did what? Touched after the foul. So for me to properly give K options, what do we have to know? We have to know when the foul occurred, and we have to know when did R touch it. Those are the two things. And so that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot that we have to process through when that happens. But I have to come ask you, because I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna say we've got first touching, we've got a foul by R. And so I have to ask him, when did R touch the ball? Was it before or after they fouled? And that is going to determine what I go tell K in terms of their options. Does that make sense? Not something we're going to see very often, but when we see it, this is determining who gets the football. So they would, so the only time K is going to want to decline the foul by R is if R has lost the right to first touching. And R loses the right to first touching when they foul after they touch. That makes sense? That's all I got, guys.